What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is gonna be my quick drop on the Clark sisters. There is nothing more annoying than when you record a whole video and then you delete it, which is what I did. I've already recorded this review, but it's only gonna be a quick drop. So the Clark sisters came on earlier yesterday because it's over midnight, past midnight, on Lifetime TV. So let me say this: as someone who walked in the door with pretty much a clean slate, I didn't know a lot about the Clark sisters. I didn't know about Dr. Mattie Moss Clark. I didn't know. Um, I probably couldn't have named all of the Clark sisters before tonight. Like I knew Twinkie. I knew Twinkie. Like I knew a couple of their songs. You know, probably their more popular songs, more famous songs that I've loved. I mean, I've loved a lot of their music. Um, so from that aspect, it gave me a lot of information, but it also left a lot of questions. And for myself, I honestly think that, in my opinion, because it's a lot of information. Oh, what I do? Oh, it's a lot of information there that just you can't cover in 2-3 hours. I would have much rather seen a Dr. Mattie Moss Clark movie and a Clark Sisters movie because there's so much there about who this woman was, and I'm now intrigued with Dr. Mattie Moss Clark. I mean, this is a woman who had her doctorate degree. We're talking about a black woman who in the 1960s was the head of what was it? She's the president of music for Kojic. In the 1960s, as a black woman, um, she was married twice. She clearly had a strong religious upbringing. Probably, I guess, I don't know when Kojic was started, so I'm gonna say something Kojic like. Growing up, if she was, she was already into her career in the 1960s, and we're talking about the 1940s, 50s is when she grew up. Uh, so for a black woman to achieve that level of education, that's a story within itself. And then we know she had a gospel career. I'm finding out now that she came from a gospel family. I didn't know these things. And so there's so much there to understand who this woman was that raised her children, to understand the drive, to understand, um, she was, I guess, they were, sort of like the Joe Jackson type. Even seeing the dynamic of her second marriage with she was being the first wife, the mother, the first pastor's wife. What's the title they give? The first woman, the first lady. Y'all know what I'm saying. Yeah, the first lady. Even that whole situation and that dynamic with her having children from another marriage and the blended family of it all, the relationship between her and Denise, there's got to be a dynamic to understand how they got there, how they got to that point. The relationship between her and Twinkie. So it was so much there, and so I got a lot. On this, I would say it's a thumbs up. I would definitely give it a thumbs up. From a Lifetime movie perspective, because y'all know Lifetime can fuck up somebody's story, honey. We know Lifetime can mess up a story. So definitely, I think the acting was great. I think the way they infused the music. I don't know who was lip syncing, who was singing. I don't know how that whole thing went down, and I'm not supposed to know. I hate when I see movies and you can tell clearly that the person is lip syncing. You're like, that is not them. So I think they did a good job of however they infused that music. So overall, again, it's a thumbs up. I'm almost here for it. I enjoyed it. I definitely did. Now, some criticism. Oh, and the woman who played Dr. Mattie Moss Clark, baby, she did that. She did that. She played that part. And that's with me not even knowing Dr. Mattie Moss Clark. I'm just saying, as an actress, she did a good job. Now, I've seen pictures of Dr. Mattie Moss Clark. I looked at a couple of videos on YouTube in the last couple of weeks of her. So she had her mannerisms down. She had the look down. So she did that. She did that. Couple of criticisms though. I will say I wish. Well, I already said that I wish that they kind of had separated the two because I think we spend a lot of time on Dr. Mattie Moss Clark, and I don't think enough time on the Clark sisters. I would love to have seen more of their day to day of touring, and maybe some stories of them being on the road, maybe some experiences they had in going to other churches as a female gospel group touring through. I'm sure they hit the Chitlin circuit in the 1970s, 1980s. Dr. Mattie Moss Clark and Twinkie on the road by themselves. I'm sure there were stories there. Their interaction with other gospel artists. I'm finding out now that Dr. Clark, she honed a lot of groups. It wasn't just her daughters. So their interaction with other gospel greats. I mean, I would have loved to have seen cameos. I don't mean cameos from like the real people, but I mean like characters that would have been those people, during that time period. I just wish that we got more of that from them. The timeline, I don't think they did a good enough job of letting us know what era we were looking at. They gave us a year at the beginning, like we knew a year at the beginning, and then we would get a year here and there. But other than that, the only indication we had was the change of hairstyles and the change of fashion, so to speak. I always am saddened when I see these stories of parents who sort of create and control their children's narrative. I felt so bad for Twinkie when all she wanted to do was go to college. And her mother was like, look, you got to make a choice. Like you got to. And I think that I really feel that if her mother had been able to, and I say been able to because I don't think it was a conscious decision, but if her mother had been able to let her go, Twinkie, clearly they had a different relationship because they traveled together and they were on the road together. And Twinkie was the backbone of the group as far as writing the songs and her musical arrangements and her talent. And even in Twinkie's bad decisions that we saw in the movie, her bad decisions were always about trying to have something of her own, trying to take control of something. When she sold her catalog, she wasn't trying to be malice. It wasn't done with any malice. It wasn't done with any ill feeling towards trying to stick it to anybody. It was hers, and it was the only thing that she had that she could say, this belongs to me. And so with that, she took control and said, but this is mine. And I can do with it what I want. And even when she bought the car, she said, or they gave her the car, she said, but I deserve something nice. With Denise, I'm not going to get into all of what's out there about Denise and her story. I'm only going to go by what was in the movie. There's a reason why she made the decisions that she made, to totally really thumb her nose at the traditions of the church. Again, I'm not going to get into all the outside story, honey. We ain't going to go, because that's a whole nother movie within itself. But I just always feel like if they had been allowed to make certain decisions for themselves, would we have the version of the Clark sisters that we have today? No, we wouldn't. No. But would we have great music from these women in some capacity? I think we would, because they are talented. They have a voice, and it is anointed. I mean, but Twinkie, that was a gift. Like that, that's a gift. Now, would she have been strictly doing gospel? Maybe not. Maybe she would have gone into R&B. Maybe she would have written music outside of the gospel world. Maybe, Karen would have sung secular music at some point and dipped her toe in. But what I do believe is there's a layer there. There's a layer of what Dr. Clark put in them. And I feel like they're going to always come back to the Lord, because it was inbred in them. And so for me, I enjoyed the movie. Like I said, I just wish that maybe we had or even a 2-night event. And I know that that's very ambitious, but the first night we could have gotten some of the background and maybe gotten more of who Dr. Clark was. And then the second night gotten deeper into the Clark sisters as far as, their story more specifically. I just feel like we I feel like it went really fast. I feel like we pushed past a lot of stuff. They got married, they had children. We ain't never seen nobody pregnant except for Denise, but kids kept popping up, you know. We never saw anybody else in a wedding dress other than the first wedding, which was Jackie. So I just wish we had seen more of their day to day story. We saw Twinkie in this horrible marriage, but we never saw her get out of it. Like, the assumption is that she did, but we never saw that. We saw her go in the hospital. We never saw her come out. We just saw her at home. You know, it left a lot there that we didn't understand. I mean, even to Dr. Clark, we don't know how she died. We know she passed away, but did she die of cancer? Did she die of diabetes? I mean, the it is implied that it was diabetes, but we didn't. Nobody told us. We don't know. So, but definitely kudos to Queen Latifah, Mary J. Blige, and Missy Elliott. Y'all did that. It was well done. It was well produced. It was well directed. It was well acted. From a technical stand, I mean, you know, I was here for it. I really was. I really was. But I hope that this maybe sparks some interest in maybe us getting sort of a prequel, and let's get a Dr. Mattie Moss Clark movie, because the accomplishments that she did on her own outside of what she did for her daughters should be applauded as well, you know. Anyway, you guys, sorry if I was rambling. I was trying to make sure I said everything I said the first time that I did this video. But let me know what you guys think. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What'd you feel about it? And put it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Peace.